we've had incredible conversations right here through the World Economic Forum. And we have the IOC chairman, Mr. Sani, with us this morning at our studios. Mr. Sani, thank you so much for your time to NDTV Profit. Have you had a good WEF this year?
Yeah, good morning and thank you for hosting me here. Yeah, this was a wonderful year and a lot of conversations around energy, lot of conversations around newer forms of energy, lot of conversations around the continued legacy of conventional fossil energy also. So it's a well-rounded energy conversations that have been there, and look forward to cementing some of the good partnerships here that we have started the conversations.
Was the highlight for you, among other things, the address that US President Trump gave, where he kept speaking about conventional forms of energy? He kept referring to a green scam, so to speak. As you look at the global energy platform or picture right now, how do you look at it, Mr. Sani? Do you think oil is making a comeback, or there is going to be a waning of conventional forms of fossil fuel?
Look, I perceive this problem in a very different manner because I see it from the lens of the country of India. For India, this non-fossil forms of energy or the newer forms of energy, which happen to be low carbon energies also, low carbon polluting energy forms also, they are a godsend opportunity for a country like India. Because in oil terms, you know that around more than 85%, 87% of my crude requirements we are importing, and we are spending around $130 billion per year as a country for importing those crude oils. And if the kind of energy growth India is needing and the kind of growth that India is perceiving in the next few years, if we continue on the same trajectory that we hope that we will continue, then I will have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars every year going on importing this crude oil and moving on the same path. For me, these alternate forms of energy are a godsend opportunity for at least adding all the new energy requirements to coming from these renewable forms of energy, the energy which is coming in a cleaner form. Maybe it is in forms of EV, it is in forms of bio, it is in forms of nuclear, it is in forms of all other kinds of energy other than fossil. They are good for the country like India. So whatever the world thinks, we should catch on to this bandwagon, and we should move ahead on this alternate sources of energy.
No, India is clearly charting its own path through the entire situation in the last 1 year. And as a country that imports crude, the good thing for us is that crude prices have been very soft. Despite some, flare-ups when there's something happening in Venezuela, Russia, Iran, कभी ना कभी कुछ ना कुछ हो ही जाता है. But we have been okay. How have you been navigating this as someone who runs a large oil corporation?
We have been constantly on the endeavor to increase the sources of crude that we are procuring from outside. And crude prices are only one aspect of the whole matrix, I'll say. The cracks have been varying. Although we can't complain on the types of cracks that are going right now, with diesel at around $18 to $20 and gasoline at around $10 to $12. We can't complain, but we have seen better days also, and we have seen worse days also. So that is also a part of the matrix. The situation is good. Situation is satisfactory because of the crude prices that are being there, and the reasons for crude prices being there where they are is the supplies demand factor. Today, the supplies are available all across the world. The newer forms of the newer areas, the newer geographies that are coming up, that is Brazil, that is Colombia, that is Guyana. So these are all opening up for newer geographies. Today, I can tell you that India was procuring, last 5 years back or so, we were procuring crude from around 27 geographies. Now we are procuring from 41 geographies. So we have expanded our span of procuring crude, and that is what gives me a sense of stability in my energy security.
It's part of a strategy to de-risk, right? You don't want to be dependent on a Russia or an Iran. A percentage of imports from Russia for you have come down significantly?
They are based on commercials, basically. They are on a very moderate phase, I'll say that.
But if I were to compare from a year ago?
Moderate, very moderate.
No, so say halved, 7,
because
3/4.
I don't want to talk about all the companies because it is you are talking of India. I don't want to comment on that. But
No,
they
but for
have been
IOC?
on a downward. They have been on a downward.
On a downward spiral.
No.
So there's no stress there.
There's no stress
I would say, Mr. Sani, actually we should, and viewers watching right now should commend the strategy that oil corporations and the Indian PSU space over here has had to navigate all of this. In terms of what it has meant for profitability of these companies, and I know you're in a silent period, so I will not ask you about your profitability, but marketing margins on a year-to-date, on an annualized basis, have been pretty solid because of dropping crude prices despite the rupee. Is it in the 8 rupee mark or thereabouts?
No, you are referring to, probably you are referring to GRM when you talk of marketing margins. They are, in our parlance, refinery margins and marketing margins are different ball games. But I understand what you are referring to, and I will not comment on the figure, as you are rightly said that we are going to declare our quarterly results in few days, so I can't comment on that, that is for sure. But what I can show, that I can be very sure in telling you that the kind of transformative journey that my company is taking in last 9 months or 1 year, wherein I am trying to improve my costs on transportation, on supply chain, whole ecosystem supply chain, the cost on processing of crude in my refineries, increasing the efficiencies of my refineries, reducing the energy consumption in the refineries, reducing the CO2 emissions that we are doing for the environment. All this is going to give me a substantial benefit in terms of my profitability, because everything, all of these, some of the actions have been completed. They will be giving results in next 6 months to 12 months, and some of them will be a long-term projects which we will take up for improving the efficiencies. They will take 2 to 3 years also. But in nutshell, I am saying this company is on a path wherein it is going to improve its operational margins, and its operational efficiencies will improve.
Yeah, and we have been seeing that also quarter on quarter. And this is also part of Project Sprint, isn't it?
Yes. Project Sprint is basically working on customer focus. It is working on cost consciousness. It is working on strengthening my core business. These are the 3 C's. And then the company has to be transformation ready. The company has to nurture the talent, and the company has to be technology ready. So these are the 3 T's. The 3 C's and the 3 T's, they comprise the sprint. And that is, these are the 6 priorities on which we are working. We are working very assiduously on developing the talent for us, because the talent line, the pipeline of talent, what we are targeting today is not only for Indian Oil but for the industry also, because our people have been great leaders going forward into other companies also. So we are developing them for not only for us but for the industry also.
Absolutely. Just as an outlook for the rest of the year, and I think asking anyone for an outlook on what 2026 calendar year is going to look like geopolitically is tough. But having said that, do we possibly see a situation of a large unlocking of supply from Venezuela? That has been the big question mark. Huge reserves, very little contribution, I think 1.5% to world supplies of crude. Do you think that we see a large unlocking? What does it mean for India? What does it mean for a company like yours? Do we have the capability of refining the kind of crude that Venezuela could produce?
If you are talking of 1 year horizon, I don't see much of the effect. But
okay.
Long term, maybe what happens 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line, that is in the realm of future. That we should not predict on that or speculate on that. But 1 year, I don't think it is going to be much, because the quantities are less. Lot of investments will be needed for bringing up that crude onto the market. So, and whatever crude is being produced, in my sense, most of it will be getting consumed in Gulf Coast of US only, and maybe some other areas. But at the same time, I can say that several of the Indian refineries are capable of processing those kind of crude. So technically we don't have a problem. I can speak for the private sector refineries also, and for the public sector refineries also.
Is there an opportunity for our industry at all, or is it not going to make an impact?
It may happen. It may happen. Sometimes some opportunities can come, and we should be ready for that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Sani, for speaking with us. It's been delightful chatting with you in the cold air of Davos.
Thank you so much. Thank you.